everyone. I'm delighted, as we've just had dinner, to invite our after-dinner speaker, which is Justin Adams from Connect Books. He's the MD of Connect Books, otherwise known to many of you as Bertram's. They're the overriding group. Justin's been at Bertram's or Connect Books, for just over a year. Prior to that, he was in the retail industry at Sealskins, which is a very different industry. It's cycle and sportswear and an online retailer. Have I got that right? So he's bringing a brilliant alternative view to our publishing industry, which can only be a good thing. So he's here to say a few words about what he thinks about what we all do and his take on things. Justin.
Thanks, Sophie. I hope I'm not going to give you indigestion. You coming in? Yeah, when Ian called me to ask me to speak, I was honoured to come. I'm pleased to say that we sell quite a lot of your books, and we're proud to do it. But I also had a bit of trepidation because, you know, I'm full of a room of highly creative, very eloquent writers, poets, etc. And I'm wondering why on earth, after dinner, you would want to call on a humble wholesaler to speak to you. So I shall attempt to entertain, but hopefully forgive me for what you're about to receive. So Ian wants to know why I joined the industry, and joining the industry, what I'm seeing and what I think about it. And actually, what I do is generally go into businesses to try to turn them around. So I tend to start from the end and work back. I try and figure out what is it that people are buying, why are they buying it, and what on earth do we need to do to get them to buy more of it. So I love books, and so coming into this sector wasn't particularly challenging for me. But I've spent most of my career in all sorts of weird and wonderful places, selling chemicals, spirits, champagne, beer, working in pubs. And as Sophie said, my last job was running an outdoor accessory business, doing waterproof gloves and socks. So I don't know how you think those things go together, but there is a theme. And the theme for me is that most of my career has been about supporting people in their leisure pursuits, in their escapism from their day-to-day jobs. And also, it's all been about taking on challenges and change. And I think that when I was first approached about this job, and I mentioned it to my wife and a few of my friends, I think they thought I was certifiably insane. Why would you join a business where in writing people say, well, it's dead, it's dying, it's declining, there's no money, you can come up with all sorts of reasons. But I have to say, you just have to walk into our warehouse in Norwich, and if you're ever in the Norwich area, I know it's a very glamorous part of the country, but you are all welcome. But actually, you walk into that warehouse, and at any one moment in time, we probably have about 20 million books. And 20 million pounds worth of books, I should say, sorry, 3 million books. Just looking at that and all the moving parts is the part of the industry that probably a lot of you don't see and you probably don't care about. But actually our job is to take the content, the creative content that you are creating and you are putting together and making it available to customers around the world. And actually that makes me quite excited because to me a book is really special. And I know when I came and I started to read about what was going on, and particularly people obsess about the rise of digital. And actually, yes, I see it happening. And the reality is that digital plays a role in the same way that McDonald's plays a role. And to me, digital, we look at these books. To my mind, there is nothing really the same as when you get a book in your hand and you look at it, and you flick through the pages, and you smell the paper. And actually, I don't come from this industry, but I find that it's something of substance, something that is actually an affordable luxury for people, and it's something you really own. Whereas a digital book, very often, you don't really own it. You're borrowing it for a while, and you don't have that sense of ownership. And I think the thing that interests me about the book business is that every book is actually unique. it's not just unique because every book is written from one author, but actually every individual that reads that book reads something different into what they're reading. And I think that even with other media content providers, a lot of it's given to the consumer on a plate. Whereas a book, it's all going on up here. And I find that really interesting. So to me, taking this job became really very easy. It's a difficult business. And the fact that each of these books is unique makes it very complicated. I mean, moving these books around is hugely complex. I mean, in December, we probably processed in the region of 4 million books. And actually, a warehouse is not that big. I mean, and trying to figure out how to make that go through that warehouse and get out on time so that actually people who are buying these for Christmas presents, so it arrives in the right condition, in the right time. And guess what? Most people are selling these with free delivery. So therefore, you've got to do it cheaply. And that is a huge, huge challenge. And so I don't worry about the future of the book industry. It is changing. There's no doubt about it. But actually, if you step back in time, the book industry is probably just as old as the alcohol industry. In fact, I think the two are probably more closely connected than people might think, given that I'm sure a large proportion of the inspiration for most books happens after the consumption of a large quantity of alcohol. Certainly when I was at the Costa Awards this week, I could see that when the books win the prizes, of course, the first thing people draw on is the alcohol. So actually they're much more closely linked than you might imagine. But actually, you think back to how many years ago that people were writing and describing things and passing on stories and passing on information, whether it's for education or for leisure. It's since the beginning of time. And we worry about this crisis now, the digital crisis, but we've gone through papyrus, we've gone through paper, we've gone through industrial printing. We're going to go through these things. And I think, therefore, the attitude I take is that our job is to react and adapt. If we don't adapt, we die. Therefore, some people in this industry will die because they refuse to see what's going on around them. But I don't think that the day of the book is over. And I think that even for a humble wholesaler like myself, we can get excited about what you guys do. And I go to work with a spring in my step. I do have a challenging time, and we run a business where we run off very, very, very low margins. I know a lot of you will know about that, and that's why I've been brought in. But what I want to do is to try and figure out how we take the amazing content that is created by the people in this room and move it most efficiently to the end customer, and that is my job, to take away all of that from you guys so you can focus on creating great content, marketing it, making it discoverable, and we will get it there on time as cheaply as we can. And so, for me, that's an exciting thing to do. And I look at the industry, and yes, there are some rather strange ways of working. I've had to learn a whole new language. I'm still learning it, so but I'm still at the stage year in where I can ask a really stupid question. And generally, in my experience of turning businesses around, it's the really stupid question of why do we do that? That generally leads you to the insight of what you need to do differently. So I don't mind doing that. But at the Costa Awards this week, it was said that reading is the sign of a great society. And I, for one, would toast that. So thank you, Sophie, for inviting me tonight. I hope I haven't put you off your pudding, but we hope you feel that your books are safe in our hands, and we very much enjoy working with you. So cheers to you. Thanks very much.